Council is set to vote on the regional plan. NAZ Today sat down with Flagstaff City Council member Jeff Orovitz to find out more about the issues surrounding the plan.
Plus, this year marks a most unusual Hanukkah date. A local rabbi explains as we approach the final day of this Jewish tradition.
And fog lingered over the Northland this past weekend. Meteorologist Lee Bourne tells us how this unusual sight lasted so long.
Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm community anchor Jan Petrie.
And I'm student anchor Virginia Beamer. Thanks for joining us.
The city of Flagstaff is set to vote this week on the regional plan that will be presented to the city voters.
Meanwhile, the Coconino County Board of Supervisors will vote on their version of the plan, but residents outside the city are not allowed to have a vote on the plan even though it will directly affect them.
NAZ Today's Alexa Vagnazzi is looking into this voter inequity and taking a closer look at the regional plan. Alexa, what issues does the regional plan address?
Well, Jan, the regional plan affects three important areas: the natural environment, which involves conservation, open space, and water resources; the built environment, which involves transportation and commercial development; and the human environment, which is responsible for housing, recreation, and urban development. I had the opportunity to sit down with Flagstaff City Council member Jeff Orovitz and talk about the regional plan and the complications that come with it. Hi there, I'm here with Flagstaff City Council member Jeff Orovitz. We're here to discuss the Flagstaff regional plan, basically the highlights of this plan and the complications that come with it. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
So if you could please tell me the highlights of the plan that make this process necessary.
Well, the Arizona State Legislature in the early 2000s passed the Growing Smarter initiative, which requires cities of our size to pass a regional plan. And the City Council has been working on this for several months. And actually, for the past 5 years, an advisory committee has been working on the plan. And now it's up to the City Council for a vote, and the County Board votes on another version of the plan.
So I know that county voters actually can't vote on this, and it does affect some parts of the county. And I also know that Representative Barton is planning to introduce a state legislation that will allow county voters to vote. Can you elaborate on this?
Well, I've been working with Representative Barton for several months for what we call a voter inequity issue. The reality is the city voters within the city limits get to vote on the plan that the City Council passes, if indeed we do pass the plan, which I anticipate we will at some point. The County Board, tomorrow, December 3rd at 3, will be voting on their version of the plan for the unincorporated areas around Flagstaff, Udoni Park, Kachina, etc. Once they vote on it, the plan's approved and it doesn't go out to the voters for final voter approval. So what we feel is there's a voter inequity issue between the two different areas. The city limits get to vote for the plan, county does not. So we'd like to see those same rights for voting afforded to the county residents as well.
And I know there are critics of the plan, and how would this shortcut public input?
Well, the City Council's been meeting for about 11 weeks, every week going over the plan. We are debating this Friday, December 6th at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Aquaplex, almost 150 suggested changes to the plan. So we've been really diligently going through it, and the county will see what they vote on. We'll see how that goes on the county level. But public input's very important, and we've got to make sure that the voters have a voice and that people can decide what their plan is going to look like.
Well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much again. If you'd like to find more about the plan, please visit naztoday.com.
A Flagstaff local was flying back to Arizona when he got some uncomfortable news. One passenger on his flight from Austin to Phoenix may have had tuberculosis.
How did a person with on a no-fly list get aboard? Who's responsible? Is it TSA? Is it U.S. Airways? I know that the man that has the TB, I'm sure he has suffered much, but he was on a no-fly list. So I have some anger about that. So please give us information. What are we really facing?
Unfortunately, news of the man's placement on the no-fly list did not quite make it to U.S. Airways. After the plane landed, it was stopped prior to the gate as the officials entered the plane and removed the man. Although there has been no confirmation of infectious disease, according to one passenger on the flight, a Phoenix firefighter announced that everyone on board had been exposed to TB and should see their doctors immediately.
And just as a little side note, that was Dean Davidson, one of the passengers on the flight, who spoke to us earlier today. And while an eerie layer of fog overlaid much of the Northland over the weekend, a sight not often seen in the area.
Driving conditions were treacherous at times, and yet some beautiful pictures have emerged, framing the Northland in quite a different way. Meteorologist Lee Bourne joins us now. Lee, can you tell us what caused this phenomenon?
Well, first of all, we should start with that big storm system that we had last week that brought 2+ inches of moisture to much of northern Arizona, and then we really never warmed up. And it's not all that unusual to get fog, particularly out in the Little Colorado River Valley. Now, this is a satellite shot of the fog last Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. Notice it's out here to the east of Flagstaff, and it spreads all the way up into the valleys of Utah. You get high pressure behind the big storm and a very stagnant air mass, very cold air. And what it allows it to do overnight with the long nights is the temperature at the surface cools to the dew point temperature. When you get the dew point temperature reached at the surface, that's when you start to get fog to form. Now, we don't get that much in Flagstaff. We actually average 12 days a year here in Flagstaff, but that area we just showed you on satellite actually grew. Fog is what's called a positive feedback mechanism. The sunlight tries to come in, it can't warm it up, it bounces off here. You also get cooling off the top of the fog layer. The fog layer can deepen, and it can also spread out horizontally as well, and it actually spread out from the LCR into the Flagstaff region, and we really just do not see some of these pictures. Let's take some video. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of what went on up at the Grand Canyon this past weekend. I had some friends that were actually in from Indiana, went and visited the Grand Canyon. Can we see some of that video of the Grand Canyon, please? And just doesn't happen that often. This is not the shot I want to show you. This is actually a beautiful rainbow shot, but how about this? The Grand Canyon socked in fog, and so people up on the rim not getting much of a view of down into the canyon. This happens very, very rarely, and obviously a spectacular sight for us that are familiar with the Grand Canyon, but for folks that come thousands of miles, it's a little disappointing, but beautiful nonetheless. Okay, take it back here. We had some pictures from around town, things that don't happen very often. It was like ice fog here in Flagstaff. It was so cold, temperatures never really getting much above 40 degrees. The fog droplets actually freezing on the surface of some of the plants. This is called rime ice, when the fog droplets actually collect and freeze onto the plants. All right. Enough of the past. How about the future coming up in weather? We have another big storm system to talk about, and here's a look at it. It's moving into the Pacific Northwest, and it's a cold one. We're going to talk all about it coming up in a bit. Back over to you guys at the desk.
He was pretty badly injured.
And almost like a Disney movie, one dog keeps another safe on the highway this weekend.
Plus, find out about one website that is aiding and abetting cheaters.
Sunny University. We're reaching for the stars, and I'm True Blue NAU.
We're restoring our forests.
And I'm True Blue NAU.
It's our home away from home, and we're True Blue NAU. I'm learning to make the world a safer place, and I'm True Blue NAU.
We're building the 21st century university, and I am True Blue NAU.
Shop with pride. Wear your Northern Arizona University gear on Fridays. Be True Blue NAU.
Hi, I bought Pepsi Next.
What's Pepsi Next?
It's the latest cola from Pepsi. It's got real cola taste, but 60% less sugar.
Real cola taste, 60% less sugar.
Yeah, I know.
It's unbelievable.
But this is the most impressive thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Oh, definitely. Let me get the camera. I've never had anything like it. My parents are gonna.
Yeah, they're gonna be so proud.
Pepsi Next. Drink it to believe it.
I just got a house full of Suddenlink with an all-new home phone service that can actually do tricks. Like send voicemail to email.
It's your mother, call me.
Automatically, and pop caller ID onto my TV, giving new meaning to call screening. Plus, I got E911 to pinpoint our house, and unlimited long distance to flatten our bill. Suddenly, the phone company seems cheesy, because Suddenlink just reinvented home phone and made it look easy.
A tale of two dogs touches our hearts as one courageous canine saves his friend from oncoming traffic.
Well, it happened this weekend on the highway, and with some volunteer veterinary help, life is looking up for these pets.
Reporter Natasha Reeves has more on the story.
A black lab hit and left for dead on Interstate 17 was saved by his only companion. Hero, a beagle with a big voice, got the attention of local authorities after barking at passing cars to keep their distance.
I was protecting him. He was pretty badly injured. He had drug himself off the side of the road. He had lots of drag injuries on him.
We got the call that the dog was actually chasing people away from the injured dog, and so when we arrived on scene, the dog didn't want to let anybody near the injured dog.
The injured pup, now known as Freeway, was rushed to see veterinarian Jennifer Gummo Wagner, who fixed him up free of charge.
He's had nerve damage the inside of the left front leg that will heal to a degree but probably will never heal fully.
Grace Lahr from Verde Valley Humane Society made sure the two found good temporary homes.
The decision was for me to find a foster home.
Mary Ann Rabaska welcomed Freeway into her house with open arms.
I said, well, you don't even know if he's going to like me. But he did. He came right up to me.
As for Hero, he'll be hanging out with Nate Miller.
I've had him less than 24 hours, and look at him.
Both foster parents hope that Hero and Freeway will end up under the same roof. And although Freeway may never walk the same again, he is sure to always be loved.
Both dogs have yet to be adopted and remain in their respective foster homes in Verde Valley.
Technology affects our lives in a variety of ways, but can it potentially ruin relationships? NAZ Today's Emily Kane reports on a new website and how it could be another way technology influences our personal lives.
Extramarital affairs have been a devastating issue for ages. With today's emphasis on technology, cheating has found a new contributing factor: the internet. A dating site encouraging adultery is sparking controversy throughout the nation.
I could see it being initially oh, I'm not hurting anyone, I'm not harming anyone, and then of course that just opening the doors.
Victoria Milan is a website that targets married people and finds them a match for a discreet flirt, a one-night stand, or a full-fledged affair.
Have you been there?
No, no. It's
a great site.
The website surveyed 6,000 clients. From their responses, 45% said that too much of their spouse's time spent on a phone or tablet was a contributing factor to their affair, and 2/3 said that they would not have cheated without the internet's help. But how much does technology actually boost cheating rates? Licensed clinical social worker Ron Paul has counseled married couples for years and does not agree with the survey's results.
People have been cheating for thousands of years. If a marriage isn't good, and people aren't investing in it, and people aren't committing to it, then they're going to cheat.
Paul says that technology is not a cause for an affair, but rather a scapegoat used by many cheaters who don't want to take blame.
And blaming internet media or social media for cheating is like saying I'm an alcoholic because of those bars out there.
The Swobodas agree that people use the site as a tool to carry out an already established idea.
If it's coming from a dating site for married people that want to date,
they had it in their mind that they were going to cheat before they went to the site.
Regardless of the cause, Victoria Milan is growing in popularity throughout America, Europe, and Scandinavia. For NAZ Today, I'm Emily Kane.
The last day of the Hanukkah celebration is on Wednesday. NAZ Today's Liz Ball sat down with a local rabbi to find out what makes this year's Hanukkah one to remember.
Wednesday at sundown will be the first night of Hanukkah this year. But what makes this Jewish holiday even more exciting is that it overlaps with Thanksgiving.
What's amazing about the fact that Hanukkah and Thanksgiving coincide this year is that it's only ever happened 3 other times in history, and this is the 4th time that it's happening, and the next time it will happen again is in the year 2170.
Hanukkah is an ancient Jewish holiday that has been celebrated for over 2,000 years. Rabbi Dovi Shapiro explains one of the most significant ways Hanukkah is celebrated each night of the holiday.
The way we celebrate Hanukkah is by lighting the menorah all 8 nights of Hanukkah, and the menorah is a 9-branch candelabrum that we light every night 1 candle until the 8th night we light 8 candles. And then the 9th branch is what's known as the shamish. It's the serving candle, which lights all the others.
The relationship between the menorah and people is a meaningful message for everyone.
The message of Hanukkah is that light will always win over darkness. And we all know that a little bit of light will always push away a lot of darkness. And when it comes to doing acts of goodness and kindness, we could do so many, and it doesn't take away from our own light. Just like a candle could light so many other candles and it doesn't take away from its own brightness. So to us, we could share goodness and kindness with others, and it will only enhance our own lives.
When it comes to sharing the holiday with Thanksgiving, Rabbi Dovi Shapiro says their meanings aren't too far apart.
The message of Thanksgiving and Hanukkah is basically thank you for being free.
For NAZ Today, I'm Elizabeth Ball.
Tuesday night's lighting ceremony takes place at the NAU Student Union at sunset. Ton of fog in the skies over the weekend. Today was beautiful outside. Meteorologist Lee Bourne is going to tell us whether or not to expect sunny skies through the week.
The Arizona Cardinals took on the Philadelphia Eagles, but left the game at a 3-point difference. Sports reporter Tressa Todrick has all the details. Stay with us.
Snoring can be more than a mild annoyance. It could be a sign of a much deeper problem with your sleep pattern. If you suffer from sleep disturbances, trust the Mountain Heart Sleep Center in Flagstaff for effective treatment. With a full-time staff led by Dr. Stephen Marks, your corrective care is immediate with no need for a referral. And they're the #1 accredited sleep center in northern Arizona. Mountain Heart Sleep Center, for a good night's rest.
Tonight's NAZ Today weather is brought to you in part by Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac in Flagstaff.
Keep up with NAZ Today by adding us on Facebook, following our Twitter account @NAZ Today, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. Stay connected with us no matter where you are.
All right, burn off the fog and a whole lot different outside. 60 degrees our high temperature today, 20 degrees warmer than we were all weekend. Yesterday's high temperature was 40 degrees, well above average, and we're only 2 degrees off the record high out there. 62 set back in 1946. 20 degrees was our early morning low, and really weird. The inversion is gone for us here in Flagstaff. We're not trapped in the cold air, but take a look at the high temperatures elsewhere across the state. 60 here in Flag, and we're warmer than Sedona today. So still, with that inversion we were talking about, with the fog and all that over the weekend, some areas that are typically warmer than Flagstaff are still trapped in the cold air. Sedona at 60, Payson 60, Camp Verde only 60 today. Grand Canyon 58 and still trapped in the cold air up in Page at 45 degrees. And it was only 10 degrees warmer than Flagstaff in Phoenix at 70 degrees. Okay, so how does that happen really quick? The inversion. What inversion means is there's cold air and then warmer air above it as you go up in the surface. So obviously, you usually think as we go up, it gets colder and colder. But when you get trapped cold air at the lower levels and the surface cools, it just stays there until there's some wind or something to mix it out. We got plenty of that coming, the warmer air above it. So here on top of the hill in Flagstaff, we're actually warmer than some of the lower valley locations. Pretty weird weather out there over the last several days for sure, and it's going to continue to be pretty crazy out there. We have a very, very cold winter storm headed our way, and you see it rotating up here in the Pacific Northwest, and this thing has got an Arctic air mass, and it's all headed our way. The cold front now moving through Oregon into Northern California, and this thing is going to continue to be on the approach tomorrow. A very windy day as the storm system approaches us here across northern and central Arizona. Overnight tonight will be mostly clear, 24 degrees. The wind really won't be a factor until we get into about mid-morning tomorrow, and then it'll really start picking up. We're mostly sunny out there, 47 degrees. Winds will be sustained, 20 to 30, gusting up to 45 miles per hour. Increasing clouds as this storm system moves in for us. It really moves through on Wednesday with snow around 6,000 feet right along the front, kind of fast and furious, 2 to 4 inches possible here in Flagstaff. Then Wednesday night and Thursday, continuing snow showers all the way down to possibly 2,000 feet in elevation, although we're not looking for any type of accumulation circulation. This storm system does not have a lot of moisture, but a very cold storm, and it'll be very cold around here all the way into the coming weekend. The green area I have on here is a wind advisory issued by the National Weather Service. The windiest areas out there tomorrow, although everybody will be on the windy side, and you really don't see the cold temperatures here, but you'll see them here as we get into Wednesday and beyond. We are in a deep kind of winter cold around here. Wednesday, snow 2 to 4 inches, flurries Thursday, and pretty cold all the way into the weekend. Another storm possible on Saturday. And for you down in Sedona, it's going to be rain, wind tomorrow, rain Wednesday, possibly a little snow Thursday, and again on Saturday. But don't expect much in the way of snow, but pretty chilly temperatures for sure.
Well, thanks, Lee, for that cold, windy, wintry forecast. Here we go. What about NAU football?
Well, NAU football did compete for the first time since 2003 in the playoffs, so I'll tell you all about it when we come back.
Hi, I'm Terry Markson. As seasons change, so does the inventory at Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac. To make room for the 2014 models, we're clearing the lot, and that means great deals for you on our 2013s. Right now, you'll find rebates up to $10,000 on select Chevrolet models. Choose from a full line of vehicles, including the totally redesigned 2014 Silverado 1500. You can always count on our same relaxed, no-pressure environment. Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac, real hometown value.
Well, for the first time in 10 years, the NAU football team qualified for the Big Sky playoffs, but did fall short to South Dakota State 26-7. Coach Sowers was unable to make it due to a recent back surgery, but Coach Andy Thompson stepped up as the interim head coach. Zach Bowman earned the title all-time NAU point scorer, totaling 310 for his entire career. A tied game at 7 ended the first half, but no score from the Jacks in the second half made the difference in this one. The Jackrabbits more than doubled NAU in rushing yards, 249 compared to NAU's 101. But Kyron Post's 216 passing yards outshined South Dakota's QB at 56. The Jags finished the season at 9-3, wishing 22 seniors on their way, and NAU led the FCS with 8 defensive touchdowns. The Lady Jacks volleyball team battled Montana in the Big Sky quarterfinals and took it to 5 sets, but did fall short to the Grizzlies 3-2. Sophomore Janae Vanderplug finished her season with a career-high 27 kills and had her 8th double-double of the season with 14 digs. Peyton Bach had a season-high 16 kills, and sophomore Triana Henry tallied in 23 digs. The Lumberjacks finished the season at 19-11 and matched the 4th most wins in school history. Lexi Schrader and Aaron Truitt are the only 2 seniors for this team. Out on the court, the NAU men's basketball team had a busy weekend at the Fresno State Classic, starting with a loss against Cal State Bakersfield on Friday, 61-50. On Saturday, NAU versus Drake, and 3 Lumberjacks hit double digits, and junior guard Quentin Upshur led with 20 points in the Jacks' loss to the Bulldogs, 76-56. For the final game of the weekend, the Jacks and Fresno State battled in overtime, but fell short to the Bulldogs, 71-67, just so close. Sola senior Max Jacobson earned all-tournament team honors, and Galen Browernick recorded the first double-double of the season at 10-10. On Saturday, the Jacks are back at home hosting Hawaii tip-offs at 5 p.m. in the Walk of Sky Dome. On the women's side, the Jacks hosted Utah Valley on Saturday at the Roll Activity Center. Amanda Frost led the team to a victory for the first time this season with a career-high 30 points alone, handing Utah Valley a loss 80-66. 3 other Jacks chipped in double digits, junior Erica Banks and freshman Priscilla Brooks and Brittany Lusane. NAU shot 80% from the free throw line and turned the ball over 10 times less than their average. The Lumberjacks head out to California this weekend, taking on UC Santa Barbara and Loyola Marymount. In high school basketball, the boys teams laced up their shoes, basically. Flagstaff, Coconino, and MPA hit the hardwood to start the season. The Eagles played Casa Grande this weekend. The Panthers suffered a loss against Notre Dame Prep 50-32, and Northland Prep beat Salt River 48-44. Back on the football field, the Arizona Cardinals travel to play the Eagles this weekend. Let's head into that game, third quarter now. 3rd and 9, Carson Palmer's back. The pass and goes all the way to meet Michael Floyd in the end zone, 23 yards. Eagles up by 10, 24-14. Fourth quarter and 2nd and goal. Palmer off the fake to Mendenhall and passes 3 yards to Jim Dre for the TD. Cards down by 3. Still fourth quarter, 4th and 5. A final effort for the Cardinals, but Palmer's pass is broken up by Fletcher. No flag is thrown. Michael Floyd isn't too happy about that, but unfortunately, the Cardinals lose this one by 3, 24-21. You know, Nick Foles, the Eagles quarterback, is having a really good season. He's had 19 passes now with no interceptions, and he's one shy from the NFL record.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. We'll be right back.
Where do you want me to look? Like, do you want me to look at the camera or off?
Why did I choose Northern Arizona University?
What's the question? Why NAU?
Lots of reasons.
I have to choose just one?
This applies. I chose NAU because of the small class size. My professors know me.
They treat me like a person.
Just one thing. I came to NAU for the culture. There's so much to do.
NAU's affordable.
I know what my tuition will be for the next 4 years. I chose NAU because it's close to home, but not too close.
I can't choose. It has everything.
At Northern Arizona University, finding your way is a principle we believe in.
Sweet. All right, we're done.
Go Jacks.
And take a look at this. Amazon is giving Cyber Monday a new meaning. In the next 4 to 5 years, the online superstore hopes to deliver packages right to your door using unmanned drones. The new service will be called Prime Air, and packages up to 5 pounds in weight could be carried. But the company says 90% of the packages they deliver weigh less than that anyways.
And while visitors of all sorts came through Flagstaff this weekend, some interesting cargo traveled east along the railroad tracks. These wind turbine blades anchored on one end and suspended in a harness on the other made it an impressive sight as they rolled through town. Each blade was the length of a train car and looked enormous up close. Their final destination remains unknown.
All right, Amazon drones will be grounded with this storm coming in. Very cold winter storm system on the way. Expect a windy day across the region tomorrow. 47 degrees, winds gusting to 45 miles per hour. Snow on Wednesday, 2 to 4 inches throughout the day here in Flagstaff. Very cold the rest of the way through. Flurries on Thursday. Another storm system on Saturday. Looks like it could bring a little bit more snow. Not a big deal. And for you down in Sedona, 62 and windy tomorrow. 45 rain Wednesday. And on Thursday, could see a little bit of snow in town. And again on Saturday as well, as we remain very cold around here.
Well, it's December. This is what it's supposed to feel like, and this is what's supposed to happen.
That's
so it's
right.
All good.
I agree.
Thanks for joining us here tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care. Have a great evening.